Welcome. This is your reading for the 5th to the 11th of August. Welcome to a new month. I'm really excited to be reading these energies for you this week because in the pre-shuffle with what I've already taken out, there is a lot of clear messages around change, around transformation, and how to step up into that next level of life, of self, of business. Whatever it is you are currently desiring, but you feel is not quite within your reality, that is what we're talking about this week. Now, if this lands, if this resonates, if you know this reading is meant for you because it sort of lands like in your heart, or your intuition is like just shouting out, yes, 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 or, oh my God, I don't know if I want to hear that, but I know it's meant for me. Let me know in the comments below. You can share your insights, you can share your ahas, you can even share what you're going to do about all of this information you've been given today. And of course, I do these every single week, so make sure to come back and like and share and subscribe and do all of those beautiful things. Now, today, because we're tapping into the energy of change and transformation, I'm going to be using a spread that I've created myself. This is called Change is Coming. It's really useful, this particular spread, if you're not only wanting change, but you witness and you recognize you're already within the cycle of it. Sometimes this might feel like things are feeling a little bit out of control. You're sensing and seeing things are shifting around you, but you don't feel stable, you don't feel steady. And of course, you want to come into steadiness. You want to come into allowance. You want to, embrace, let me go with the flow in a more controlled way, not just like tumbling through the river of life, hoping you don't hit any rocks. Now, this spread that I've created is actually part of a whole booklet I've created, and I'm going to pop the link below on how you can get this booklet of 12 different tarot spreads and advice on how to use them that I've created myself. It's only $5 Australian. So if you'd like to check that out, if you'd like to purchase, you'll find the details below. All right, let's dive into it. Now, the first thing I did is I used the Work Your Light Oracle by Rebecca Campbell to pull out some cards around why do we need these messages today? Maybe a little bit of insight into the energy of change, of transformation, where you're feeling this sort of stuckness in your life. So we had 3 cards that came out. We've got Answer the Call. What is your soul calling you to do? Now, this card in and of itself, the question, what is your soul calling you to do? That might give you a beautiful pathway to walk down, and you ask yourself that question and you contemplate and you begin this inquiry. But I get the sense that for many of you, what is your soul calling you to do? It's more of this annoying plea that has been on your mind for a while, where you're like, it's not this, it's not this, it's not this. My life as it currently is not my life. I'm not quite sure what else or where else I need to go, but I've been called somewhere and I just need that direction. So if you're currently feeling frustrated around this area of your life, directionless, not quite certain on what actions to take because you don't know the direction you want to be heading in, this is definitely your reading. Now, even within this card, answer the call. There's a clue within that. When we are just listening and trying to clarify and trying to have all of the details from the get-go, we often miss what we can be doing right now is just taking action and taking the steps with the information we currently have. That is a huge piece of advice for anyone who's resonating with this card currently, or if you're in any area of your life where there is a journey to be gone on, but you're feeling stuck, is with what information you do currently have, what can you do now? It's about answering the call you've received, not answering once you've received like some future call or the biggest call or the last or the latest call. You answer the call you've already received. And that's part of the gift of life, but also part of developing and using our intuitive skills and our skill set of intuition is we ask, we receive, and we answer. We ask, receive, and answer. And by answer, it's take action, move forward, do what you can in this moment, what's within your capacity, what's in your context, what's in your circumstance. All of this is relevant. Now, our next card that came out is Align Your Life. What is not aligned or needs to change? This is a clarifying question in case you're kind of wondering, well, how do I answer that call? What is not in alignment? What feels off? What feels like it's every time you go into this area of your life, or every time you have to take this action, or every time you work with this person, or need to, relate to a certain part of your life, it's uncomfortable. It's unsettling. There is a part of you that knows something isn't right here. So that's the first kind of clue. What areas of your life, like do a self-assessment, do a life assessment, and you can be as detailed as you want to be, or you can keep it broad. What feels off? What isn't in alignment? What makes you uncomfortable? Now, through that inquiry, you might find some really interesting answers, things that you can change, calls that you can answer straight away. Or perhaps you might just discover that that was a big red flag that you've just been ignoring or looking the other way on. And you can remove it from your life. You can change it. You can step away from it. Or you could even do something that ends that discomfort and misalignment. The third card we've got here is the crumbling. What are you clinging to? If part of you, as I was saying that, if like release, let go, get into alignment, remove, whatever it is, felt too big, too hard, too difficult, too triggering, or just simply, oh, I can't do that, and you've just taken it off the table, what are you clinging to? What are you holding on to? Sometimes we keep things in our lives because we think they have to be there. Sometimes we keep people in our lives because we didn't realize we have the autonomy and the permission to remove them, or remove ourselves from those situations and those relationships if we need to, if it's what's best for us. So what are you clinging on to? Is it clinging on to a false sense of politeness and being a people pleaser, or a good daughter or good partner or good friend or good colleague? Are you clinging on to old patterns of behavior that suited you back in the day and no longer suit you now? What are you clinging to? What are you clinging to? Such a big question. I really love that all three of these cards provided us with questions, because questions can be the prompts and the signs for us to, go further down pathways of understanding ourselves, understanding our situations, and figuring out what it is we need to do. So these cards are telling a very big story today, that in the coming week or two, depending on when you hear this and when this resonates with you, of you're stuck, you're feeling a bit stagnant, and you're worried about wasting your potential, wasting your time, not only not hearing the call, but not going for it. There's nothing more painful than feeling like you're not living your life, that you're not fully alive, that you're just going through the motions. We've all had that experience where weeks can pass, months can pass, years can pass, decades can pass, and we don't make any movement in an area. And if it's a movement, or rather, if it's an area that we really, really care about and we really, really desire to see grow and flourish, or even simply to have that experience, it can be quite devastating. So this is your reading. Change is coming. And with that, let's dive into the changes coming spread. Now, with this spread in particular, it starts with the focal point and the theme of the Wheel of Fortune card. The Wheel of Fortune turns. The Wheel of Fortune is something that indicates an end of a cycle or a start of a new one. And that is the energy that we're tapping into. So everything we've just discussed in those first three cards, anything that has come up and into your mind, into your body, into your consciousness, as we've been going over that, this is what we get to turn the wheel on. My first little invitation for you is to ask yourself, what cycle do I want to end? What cycle is the most maybe at the forefront of your mind and your energy and your life at the moment? Or perhaps something just pops up in this moment, in your mind, in your head, and always feel very welcome to share it with me in the comments, anything that comes up and through, that you want to change the cycle on. You want to end one, start a new. You don't need to know what the new is, by the way, to end an old cycle. But the cards today are going to give a little bit of an indicator how you can step in this direction, how you can make the most of this over the coming week. Though always trust that anything you start in 1 week, you can keep going. It's not a one and done. There's no race, there's no timeline. This is about serving you where you're at, and you can take it as slow or as fast paced as you need. All right, so the first card that we're looking at is what I need to accept. Often when we are ending a cycle and starting a new one, or even just stepping into a new next level chapter of our life, there is an element of allowance and acceptance and being able to be present with what is. So this card is helping us with that. So what I need to accept. We've got the Three of Wands in reverse. Quite a few messages coming through with this card for everyone today. So what you need to accept, what we all need to accept in this area of our life is we might have made the wrong decision. Now, I see this as not so much as there's a right and a wrong in life. Life isn't that linear, life isn't that black and white, but you might sense and you might feel there was a missed opportunity, or maybe you didn't take advantage of a situation to its fullest, or perhaps you did make a decision and at the time it was the best decision you could have made at that time. But now, with hindsight, you go, oh, actually, I wish I had chosen another one. So something that needs to be accepted this week as you move through this change, as you step into this next cycle, as you elevate and upgrade your life, your reality, yourself, your situation, is I made those mistakes. Whatever that mistake is for you, accepting it, allowing it, coming to peace with it so that you can move forward. That's the first sort of biggest, weightiest, meatiest kind of message coming through in the area of acceptance. Now, I also get the sense here that there is an acceptance needed around how much time it's taken you to get to this point, how much time it has taken you to decide now is the time for me to change. Now is the time for me to heal. Now is the time for me to grow. Whatever that thing is for you, acceptance that it took as long as it took. You might even wish to, converse with your higher self, get a bit of this perspective and think about, on the grand scheme of things in my life, was it a long time or was it exactly what needed to happen? It's easy with a little bit of distance and a little bit of grace and compassion to see that perspective, but you need to give that to yourself. So accepting, however long it took, you're here now. The most powerful place you can be, here and now. Now, the final kind of message coming through with the Three of Wands in reverse is also the acceptance that this decision, or the decisions you're making now and next, may also not be, when you're in the future looking back with hindsight, the best decision you could have made. But that in and of itself, we need to come to terms with, come into a place of acceptance and go, just like in the past, here and now, I'm going to make the best decision I can with the information I have and embrace it and go with it and back myself. And if it turns out into the future wasn't the best choice, well, I did my best. So when we can accept that we're doing our best, we're making choices with what we know, and we're allowing ourselves to just trust and have faith, you're in such a much more powerful position than if you're going to constantly question what you're doing. Because that's either going to keep you stuck in the old cycle, not really changing, or repeating old patterns. And even if you make progress, even if you get success in this area, you don't need to bring that baggage of being judgmental and being worried and being concerned. Do your best, make the choice, get going with it. Okay, so the next card in this spread, we have the cycle I am entering. So you've come to this place of acceptance. What's next? The Six of Wands. This is a cycle of celebration. This is a cycle of ownership. This is a cycle of really allowing yourself to lead yourself. Now, this card's very interesting because there's these people in the background and they're celebrating you and they're championing you and they're witnessing you, which in and of itself might be triggering for some. Try this on. Let me know if it is. How scary or how awkward does it feel to think people will be seeing you in this change, in this evolution of your life or of your relationship, whatever it may be. How does it feel to know that the wins and the losses, the ups and the downs, the crushing it and being crushed, because this is all part of, the fullness of life, will be witnessed, will be seen? Maybe that's part of the reason you stayed so long in the old cycle, in the old way, is because of this sense of the weight of perception of others. So in this next cycle that you're entering, there is success, there is celebration, there is ownership, there is you leading yourself beautifully. And you will need to come to terms with, still that accepting energy of those around you. There might be some judgments, there might be some, comments. People might love what they see or loathe what they see. This is not actually the business of you. It's not the business of this person on the horse celebrating, like waving their flag, waving their wand, having that wreath. It's not their business what other people are thinking and saying. They're focused on their journey. They're focused on their path, just as you need to be as well. So whatever you're currently called to do next, focus on your path. Focus on your line of sight. Because even if these people, they're on their own journey, they're on their own horse, they're doing their own thing. And even if, yes, they can see you, where they're headed and where you're headed are not the same. It would be like you're, on a horse or driving a car or going on a journey. And rather than follow the signs to your destination, you follow the other cars. And then you wonder, why did I not end up where I wanted to go? So keeping your eye on your prize. The next card that we come to around this wheel is what I need to let go of. So through this journey and through this process of acceptance and entering into this next cycle, you will realize you still have some baggage. You still have some things to let go of. So the Knight of Pentacles. Some straight talk from the Knight of Pentacles. You need to let go of some of this baggage of like this holy grail. There is one right thing. There is one right goal. There is one right way. You are going to go on an adventure. And there are so many things that you cannot plan and prepare for at this stage. So letting go of this perfectionist pathway forward. Just like what we were talking about before, answer the call. You answer the call you get now. You can't answer the call you're going to get in 6 months' time. So focus on the now. Focus on what you can control. Focus on what you can do, and let go of this, unrealistic, and it's unrealistic because it simply doesn't exist, knowledge of, exactly what needs to happen and what you need to do. So letting go of this holy grail kind of perspective. I also sense in the Nine of Pentacles, letting go of, and this is definitely not advice I've given, it's definitely channeled through with the cards, letting go of some money, letting go of some funds, letting go on your tight control of your purse. Now, that does not mean recklessly spend. It does not mean give away your last dollar. It simply means you might have to, on this journey, let go of some money in order to get something else. And that could be $5, it could be $5,000, it could be $5 million. I don't know who's listening to this. Maybe you are someone with millions of dollars. But letting go of money, there's an exchange here. There's a I give to receive kind of energy. And if you're in the habit, again, maybe due to the past and what has happened previously, the habit of hoarding, the habit of holding, the habit of, not letting go of because you don't know if you're going to get more of, or whatever your story is, that is something to let go of. Because this is centered around the next week or, 2 weeks, thinking about what purchases or what opportunities are coming your way that require some kind of financial investment, and really giving yourself the consideration of, in this next cycle, in this upgrade, in this up level of me, in this area of my life, is this an investment I'm willing to make? And make it based on who you are now and where you want to go, not the old way, not the old cycle. Because remember, change is coming. We need to embrace it. Our final card in this changes coming spread is The cycle I am leaving. Well, I've definitely read this in the wrong way, but I'm sure it's happened for a beautiful reason. It should be what I'm leaving, what I need to accept, what I'm entering, and what I need to let go of. It would help if I'd be wearing my glasses today. But we're coming to this one, and let's just go with it. I'm sure it's definitely going to be exactly what we need to hear at the end, with all of this conversation had, with all of these points made, with all of the thought journeys that you've gone on. What cycle are you leaving? The 10 of Pentacles. You're leaving this cycle of, I need the perfect circumstances and the ideal situation and every box ticked and all my dreams fulfilled and, all the eggs in one basket and they're all hatching at the same time. Like this, again, perfectionist daydream of what not only does it need to be, but who you need to be in order for it to happen. What you're leaving is any kind of delusion that you are not good enough for what it is you want, that there is maybe some perfect end of the rainbow unicorn fairy tale princess reality that you need to be in before you can be the change that you want to see, before you can get the results you want to get, before you can live the life you want to live. This is what we're leaving behind. At the end of the day, this is what we're leaving behind. This is what you're leaving behind. The bullshit story that perfect needs to come first, or that perfect is actually what you're aiming for. What is the thing that you're leaving behind? Is it the perception? Is it a goal? Is it a conditional life or reality or situation before you can change? What are you leaving behind? What are you letting go of in the cycle? And this card in and of itself might remind you of a person, a place, a thing, a situation, an area in your life. Just know and trust that whatever is coming up and through for you, that is what you need to be focusing on this week. All right, before we go, I'm feeling called to pull some gratitude cards because change is coming. This is a lot to deal with emotionally, mentally, physically, energetically. So let's bring in some compassion, some love, some gratitude. What are some messages of gratitude for you to carry through with you this week? So we've got 1, 2, 3. Let's get one more. All right. Good friends are like fairy tales. This is we're speaking about fairy tales. They were there once upon a time, and they will be there forever after. All right. So in this journey of change and transformation, leaning on your support networks, leaning on your friends, reaching out to them. See the beauty in your everyday life. Yes, rather than lost in the delusion of this perfectionist life and, fantasy, see the beauty in your everyday life. Nature is a healer for your soul. Get out into nature, get out into your backyard, go and do something that involves greenery and nature, whatever season it is where you are. Oh, I love that. This is the last card. You can manifest your dream life. You can manifest your dream life. If you're worried about change, if you're worried about transformation, if you're worried about the challenges, because there will be challenges that are coming your way in this growth, in this cycle, in this next level, just remind yourself, you can do this. You can manifest your dream life. Your dream life, not your perfection life, not your fairy tale, delusional, could never happen life, but your dream life, the one that exists within you, and you just need to bring it out there. It exists. You can do it. And it starts with embracing this change. Oh, thank you for joining me today. This has been such a fun reading. Let me know if you liked the spread. Let me know if you liked following a spread through our readings. And of course, if you want to get that booklet with the 12 tarot spreads that I use, I've called it Tarot Spreads for Every Day for Everyone. Just check out the link below. Make sure you snatch it up. Thank you. I'll see you next time. I can't wait to see what change is coming our way.